To understand the gravity of the economic situation as we move through March 2026, one must first understand the perspective of the man providing the analysis. Clive Thompson is not a typical market commentator. He is a retired private banker and wealth manager whose career in the Swiss financial sector spanned approximately 50 years. This half-century of experience in the heart of global finance provided him with a front-row seat to market cycles, currency collapses, and the intricate structuring of private equity and family wealth. The Swiss perspective is unique because it prioritizes long-term wealth preservation and the stability of hard assets over the speculative frenzies often seen in other markets. Today, Thompson is warning that the global economy, led by the United States, is moving into a period of stagflation that could redefine the financial landscape for a generation. Stagflation is a rare and dangerous economic condition where stagnant growth and high unemployment meet persistent inflation. Thompson identifies three primary signals that prove we have already entered this phase. First, he points to what he calls the real employment gap. While official non-farm payroll numbers often paint a rosy picture, a deeper look at the data from February 2025 to February 2026 reveals a different reality. Despite a population increase of 1.91 million people over that year, there are actually 689,000 fewer people working. When you combine those numbers, it shows a net increase of 2.6 million non-workers in the United States in just 12 months. This suggests that the labor market is far weaker than the headline numbers indicate. The second signal is the rapid decline in gross domestic product growth. The drop has been precipitous, falling from an annualized rate of 4.4% in the third quarter of 2025 to just 0.65% in the fourth quarter of 2025. Thompson anticipates that the data for the first quarter of 2026 will show negative growth, which is a classic indicator of a recession. This economic cooling is being accelerated by a third factor, the private credit crunch. Currently, private credit funds are facing massive redemption requests from investors who want their cash back. Because these funds cannot liquidate their holdings instantly, they are gating their funds, which means they are limiting or stopping withdrawals. Consequently, they are refusing to renew loans for small and medium-sized businesses. This forces those businesses to lower their stock levels and lay off staff just to survive, which further suppresses the economy in a vicious cycle. While the economy slows, inflation remains stubbornly high, creating what Thompson calls the inflation trap for the Federal Reserve. Although the Consumer Price Index is currently at 2.5%, the Federal Reserve's preferred measure, known as the Core Personal Consumption Expenditure, showed a 0.4% increase in January alone. If this monthly rate of 0.4% continues, the annualized inflation rate will exceed 5%. This creates a terrifying policy dilemma. The Federal Reserve cannot raise interest rates to fight this 5% inflation without deepening the recession and causing unemployment to skyrocket. On the other hand, they cannot lower rates to stimulate the economy because inflation is already more than double their 2% target. As a result, interest rates are likely to stay stuck exactly where they are, leading to negative real interest rates. This is a scenario where the inflation rate is significantly higher than the interest you earn on your cash, effectively melting away your savings. Thompson believes this environment is explosive for precious metals like gold and silver, and he uses the 1970s as the primary historical blueprint. Between 1973 and 1980, gold rose by an average of 35% per year. Silver was even more volatile, experiencing a massive surge of 713% in the 1979 to 1980 period alone. The reason for these massive moves is simple math. The gold market is tiny compared to the global equity and bond markets. Thompson notes that even a tiny shift in capital, such as 0.5% of the money in equity markets moving into gold, can cause prices to move massively. He reminds us that the only thing that ended the great gold bull market of the 1970s was when Paul Volcker, the then chairman of the Federal Reserve, raised interest rates to 20%. This created positive real rates of over 5%, meaning investors could finally earn a high return on cash that outpaced inflation. Gold plummeted because it no longer made sense to hold an asset with no yield when cash was paying 20%. However, Thompson suggests that until the Federal Reserve can achieve positive real rates again, which seems nearly impossible given the current debt levels, the environment remains incredibly favorable for metals. Despite this bullish outlook, Thompson maintains a serious tone regarding strategy and risk management. He warns that the path to higher prices is not a straight ride. Even during the massive bull market of the 1970s, There were significant negative swings that wiped out many investors. He points out that gold is already down significantly from its peak in January 2026, proving that volatility is part of the process. His advice is to avoid rushing into large positions all at once. Instead, he suggests investing small amounts to test your emotional tolerance for price swings. While he sees a high upside for gold and silver, he recommends maintaining a diversified portfolio that includes equities and real estate. This is because governments often try to print their way out of recessions. While this printing devalues the currency, it can eventually buoy the nominal price of all hard assets. We are entering a period where the preservation of wealth in tangible form is more important than chasing speculative growth in paper assets. Subscribe for more content like this.